Hi, I'm Larry Horist, and welcome to So There It Is. We're going to talk about a very tragic and serious problem in our country today, and that's what we refer to as mass shootings. Now, mass shootings actually have a definition. It means that four people are either injured or killed in a single shooting in public, in a single event. And under that definition, you may be surprised to hear that this year already, there have been more than 250 mass shootings. Now, we focus on the big ones for obvious reasons and for political reasons. We focus on the shooting in El Paso, we focus on the shooting in Dayton, and the politicians start making all kinds of political benefit they can out of whatever's happening. We don't focus on the shootings in Chicago. I think 42 people were shot in Chicago this past weekend. This goes on. I come from Chicago. This happens all the time. People get killed virtually every weekend. We don't focus on those because the Democrats are a little uncomfortable because they control all these cities where all these shootings are taking place. But they do focus on shootings that they say are the product of young white males. That's who does this shooting. And they use AR-15s to do it. Well, of the 250 shootings, mass shootings in America in this last year, a very small minority of them were done by young white men. The second reality is very few of them were done with AR-15s or what they call assault weapons. Which brings us to, what in the hell do we do about it? The problem with most of the proposals is they're the same kind of proposals you get after all of these shootings. They're symbolic proposals that aren't going to do a lot of good. There's some real issues we got to get at. If you want to stop the broad range of mass shootings, not just the big ones, but the broad range of mass shootings, you've got to go into the inner cities and you've got to break up the Democratic machines. Why? Because they're what keeping the minority community segregated, impoverished, uneducated, unemployed, and endangered. It's the Democrats who are doing that. You don't think so? Check out any city who runs them. The Democrats do. Democrat city councils, Democrat mayors. So what we have to do is address what are the core problems in those. Now, in addressing the mass shootings that are gaining a lot of attention, then we got to look at a number of things. It's fair to look at weaponry. I personally came out right away against the bump stock after the Las Vegas shooting. Because if an automatic rifle is illegal, it makes no sense to me that a device that makes a semi-automatic rifle legal makes any sense. I wouldn't have a problem, and I'm a defender of the Second Amendment, by the way, but I wouldn't have a problem with limiting magazine size. I think we could do that. And if there's some background checks that would help us, I would do it. But the problem is, unless we really address the psyche of the shooters in these big ones, that's the commonality. They come from all sides. You saw in El Paso, it was a white supremacist. In Dayton, it was a follower of Antifa. We see them on the liberal side. So what is the common thread? The common thread is, frankly, they're nuts. They're people who are demented by insecurities, by lack of self-worth, and we see another trait, and we've seen it in this one. We saw El Paso, we saw Dayton, and then we saw a couple turned off, that were prevented. And why was that? Copycats. The media exposure goes right into the psyche of these demented individuals and gives them a sense of immortality. They don't do it for a cause, because anybody who does that for a cause does great damage to whatever cause they believe in. That's a fact. If you're a white supremacist and you shoot a whole bunch of Hispanic people in El Paso, you're not doing a damn thing for white supremacism, which is probably good. You shouldn't be. It should be, it is a bad thing. On the other hand, if you're doing it to be a hero, It is a virtual death warrant. You are almost certainly going to be killed, and if not, in the few cases you're not going to be killed, you're going to spend a long time in jail. You're never going to be a hero. So these are people who are looking for an after-death kind of fame. Fame, copycatism, that's what we need to be looking at, with some idea on guns and weaponry and everything. But banning guns, this whole idea that guns are the primary motivator, is really counterproductive. And that's why every time we go after guns after a shooting, nothing changes. You know what Einstein said? If you keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result, that's the definition of insanity. And we have become insane about gun and opposition to guns as the primary reason for the kind of killing that happens in the United States that we can all agree is tragic, and we really need to address the core causes, and that's what we should be focusing on, and not just looking at the gun itself. And so there it is.